I don't think he's gonna like what's gonna happen to him right now, dude. Okay, I'm gonna let him charge. Dude, 31k. 9 plus, like I did 40k with just that. Wait, I don't even have, so I'm just gonna have to fucking charge him. Oh wait. Well, that was goddamn rude, man. I couldn't even charge fast enough.
We are one now.
You sure are one, man. Shut the hell up. Oh, is the... Oi, switch the goddamn weapon, dude. Oh my god, I can't get my goddamn loot. Ree! Okay. Well, hello there. Welcome to my no rest for the wicked endgame Paladin guide. I cleared all content in the game with this build, which once fully realized is super tanky, close to unkillable, and melts bosses in 1 or 2 freeze shatter combos. And it's just a great fun to play. I have to preface, I will provide some alternatives for leveling since majority of my gear is obtained in the endgame, but apart from aesthetics, most of the armors have the same stats and weight, so you can pretty much start build as soon as you get any plague gear showcased here in this video. So what makes this build a Paladin build? Well, since there is no classes in the game, I went with your standard archetypes, so sword, mace, and a shield. Heavy plate focusing on a fate as a main damage stat, with a few buffs that we can drop in there, so it feels like Paladin-like. So for the stats, it's pretty straightforward, since a lot of stats like especially like stamina and focus, which have like already like a soft cap very early into the game. So like once you put a couple of points, you don't really want to invest too much into it. So the way that we're gonna go with this, so health 21, this one is your bit of a flexible stat. If you want like a bit more, if you want to be more tanky, you can take more stats into health and you drop a bit in the fate. Fate is your main damage scaler, so if you drop a couple of these, you can get more health. I suggest you don't really need, maybe like early, if you're struggling like earlier, you can drop a couple more points into the health, then you can respec later on and put more into fate just to get more damage out of the build, because you will be extremely tanky, so you don't really need that much health on its own. So stamina, since it caps out around 17, you can get like I think +2 to stamina points up to 19, then it's like only 1 point, so it's really not worth going above 17. So the main stat is fate, obviously, since we are playing the Paladin build. As I said, like this is your main stat scaler, so if you want more damage, this is where you're gonna dump a more majority of your points. For focus, you want to stop at 16, reason being we just want to have like 200 focus around it, and after this you only get 10 points per point of focus, so it is really not worth it. Up to 16, I think it's like the last couple is like plus 15 points, so overall 16 is where you should stop. Equipment load, now this one is this is also like one of those stats you're gonna have to play around depending like what gear sets you're using. For example, for me, since I'm using right now like this is the 3 plate items plus 1 cloth item. I do plan to change this cloth one to the medium to like a leather, so I'm like balanced around there. So pretty much it's gonna end up equipment load up to like 22, 23. I think it's 23 if you're gonna be using like a full heavy set. If you're dropping from full heavy, you can probably go around like equipment load to 20. Obviously you can see it here. I'm gonna move my head. So yeah, so around like 20, as I said, as long as you are not over encumbered, that's it. Just keep it under 100. That is all you need to do about the equipment load. And that is it when it comes to like actual stat distribution. Let's get over to the gear. Alright, so for the gear, we don't really have too many choices when it comes to like what you want to use. Spirit Edge is absolutely amazing weapon. This is the probably like the best focus or like fate weapon in the game, and it's also the rarest one, so it will take you a while to get this one. So what I would suggest, until you get your Spirit Edge, You can run around with like Grimacing Stone. This one is the best weapon in the game when it comes to Fate build. Why? Because it's a one-handed with like the best scaling, absolutely like flat damage you can have, and it has like a pretty good moveset. It doesn't have like a charge attack, but you don't really need it because it attacks so fast. Obviously this is a fire mace, I'm not using it right now, but for the Spirit Edge, the reason why this one is great, it comes with its it already comes like with a frost enchant on it. It's like a frost weapon, so you don't need that one. So it leaves like you don't need to put a gem in it, so we can put a life steal and we can roll like a damage mode. Like for example here you can see damage to large enemies, which is like one of the best ones to get. Now for the runes, as I said, this is like a paladin build, but throw skills in general are absolutely amazing because as a melee you're always going to be struggling like dealing with the range mobs. That is why like frost throw is absolutely insane. It will freeze everything in its path. Like you drop it once the build is fully realized, it will literally just one shot and freeze like everything there is. The second option, let me see here, I can showcase the other one. The other one that we got is the charge, basically like a frost dash. This one does tons more damage than a frost strike because it's a single hit attack. So if you don't know, once you freeze an enemy, he takes 50% reduced damage from any frost attack. So that's why you kind of want to front load the damage if you want to kill the smaller mobs. So like frost dash will pretty much one shot everything. If it stays alive, you can just switch to your secondary because like there is you saw it in a video already. The shatter mechanic, how it works. So you freeze an enemy, you switch to your physical weapon. It needs to be a physical weapon. Then you shatter it and it will do tons of damage with the shatter combo and everything should be pretty much dead. Like you don't even need to charge the attack. For bosses you do, but in general you just like do a normal attack and everything is just gonna die if it's frozen. And that's about it. Now for the rune slots, these are flexible. I like to have my channel on this one, so whenever I need like focus, I don't need to like switch a weapon around. So I'm keeping that one there. For the fourth one, I would suggest to get the damage one here, the damage rune. I'm having that one on a separate weapon, which is right here. So I have one with like pretty much all the buffs you can get. So we have like one for health, one for damage, one for poise, and one for stamina. For bossing, I usually just take stamina and damage ones, plus the focus one, and this one gives slight health. Don't really use all the other one because it takes a while to buff, right? So by the time you're done buffing, you're already running out of the first buffs at the beginning. So you don't need to really worry about that. So I would just put the damage one on here, and that's it. And that is it for the weapon. Now for the secondaries, this one is you find with whichever item you get, right? As long as it's like a two-handed, as long as it's a physical damage and it's like a fate scaler. Just take whatever you have with the highest damage one and drop it here because you just want to like shatter. You don't ever like use it. You just want to shatter. Obviously I am using this legendary one because it's a nice one. I'm sure I can like make even a better one if I just take the flat like physical ones. I do have some in here chest. I just didn't reroll them. For example, Midnight Shredder is amazing option. So you can use something like this and make sure that it doesn't have any infusions on it because you want a physical weapon with a physical skill. One of the best things about this weapon though, like the Berserk Strike does tons of damage and that one is pretty much guaranteed to, so number 4 on this is guaranteed after you freeze something and use a Berserk Strike with your Fetid Club, is gonna one-shot almost every boss in the game, even on Plague 4. And now for the shield, we don't really have too many options. It's literally this one, Azure Griffin Shield or a Kite Shield. This one just looks better. There is like the stats are the same, they are the medium shields. So what you're looking for stat wise, I'm gonna go to the stat wise once we are like done with all the gears. So as I said, for the armors, 3 plates plus 1, I would suggest leather here because you want to have at least 30. My poise right now is like 28. You would want to have like at least 30 poise overall. So when you like block with your shield, right? So for example, the big 3 guy, if you don't have around 30-31 poise, I'm not really sure, he will stagger you on a third hit. If you have like more than 30, it will not stagger when he does like those 3 slams with a club. But yeah, that's most like quality of life stuff. You can just like dodge roll out of it if you want. As I said, these three pieces, you want a helmet to be your piece that kind of balance out the resistances. That is the only difference why I don't use like a plate everywhere. I used to run with like full plate, but my resists were like my armor was great, but my other resistance were not so much. So as you can see now, they're kind of like pretty balanced and much higher than they were before. So what you want is heat and plague to be your secondary best ones, right? You want to have like high armor, but cold and electric are not as much as important as the heat, especially because those witches do tons of damage, and this will help you that you don't get like full stack of burn on you. Plus the plague resist. A lot of enemies, especially in the end game, are doing plague, so having this one high is how you like are able to survive a lot of things. So yeah, you pretty much use the Cloth one here because Cloth has the best elemental resist, which I don't understand why armors like plates don't have super high elemental resist. We are already trading like a lot of points for because we are running with a heavy armor, right? We are sacrificing already speed, we are sacrificing the points to keep the encumbrance down, and the only thing we gain from it is like just a bit more like flat armor. But since you do need both elemental and physical ones, so it's very weird though. Like I think we are getting punished way too much for like wearing plate armor, but that's the subject for another time. For the rings, the two mandatory ones, the rune ring, so we run here 30% more damage and attack damage increased by 10%. We are using this one obviously because we focus a lot on our rune attacks, so I like to run around with a rune ring. And Band of Calmness. Calmness is like a mandatory one because we need a lot. Excuse me. We need a lot of focus. So this one helps a lot, and you will see with the stats on the gear. For example, here we get more health from max focus, and we get more stamina from max focus. That's why having like a high focus is great. So, and we don't really have too many options. We don't really need too much damage. You can replace the Jade Ring. I like this stamina on damage dealt because it keeps me like spamming my left click when I need to. You can use something like Agility Ring with so more movement speed, and it pretty much gives you also like less attack cost. So it's as if you're gaining stamina, and you have something like a Willow Cap. Overall speed super great because as you can see, we are pretty slow build in general, like when it comes to like movement stuff. But we are not here to move. We just pretty much block everything. Like we just face tank everything and just freeze in 2 hits and just shatter and kill. That is the build, man. I refuse to dodge. That's why I made it this tanky. Now for the stats. For the weapon itself, this is the kind of stats you want to look at. Since we are running like the plague one, you have to have like one negative stat. So we are running unrepairable, indestructible on almost all the pieces that you need to, because that is just like one good stat that you indestructible. It has to be there, right? Because you can't repair a weapon. But we don't worry about the negative in this way, in this scenario. So the best damaging one you can get is damage increased against the large enemies. There is a couple of more, but I found this one to be like the best because the only enemies you really want to like have the most damage against one is the big bosses, right? The more damage you do, the faster you freeze them. As I said, for the secondary, it doesn't really matter. More damage, like something like this, damage increased by 30 as well, would be like fitting. Gain 25 focus on fatality. Fatality is an interesting thing because focus on kill doesn't work with the rune attacks and charge attacks, but fatality does. So fatality is basically it's just like on kill, plus it works on the charge attacks and rune attacks. That's why like whenever you see something on fatality is better than the on kill, especially for the rune builds. And that's pretty much it. Like you can get there life if you want. I'm just putting this one so it's like easier to keep it up. Movement speed increased for 6 seconds after the rune attack. As I said, like we are very slow build, and this just helps with the mobility. And you can only ever have like one defensive and one offensive, etc. like stat when you're rolling this. So I can't just put like 3 offensive stats on the weapon. Same goes with the shield. So for the shield, for the gems, lifesteal on the Spirit Edge. If you're not running Spirit Edge, if you're running like a Grimacing Stone, the best scenario would be you would get a Heat Infusion roll on it, Frost Infusion, depending. Like you can run this build. It's very flexible. You can run it as a Frost, you can run it as a Fire, you can run it as a Plague, but Frost is just the strongest one because of the Shatter combo. This one is by far the best for boss killing. So yeah, you would just get the infusion, like all the other stats would stay the same. You would just get the infusion because we want to keep the life steal, because life steal is very, very good. So it says life steal increased, but it basically gives you 10% life steal on all the damage we are doing. And that is how we are sustaining. We can pretty much, as I said, as much damage as we take, we can just heal it back absolutely easy, because we have so much like focus generation with this build. Especially if you block, you get even more, and then you do more damage because as you can see on the shield itself, so that's like 15 life steal there, plus damage taken decreased while blocking, so we take almost no damage when we are blocking hits, even from the big attacks. As I said, the only danger is getting staggered if you like try to block too many heavy attacks. That's why you want to have like as much poise as you can. And we get a damage buff whenever we block. Actually, I took the damage based on durability here because that one is always active. There is one like damage based on a block. It might be higher than this. But this one is always active, so you don't need to like block first to get the buff going. So it's basically just 15% more damage. Healing increased. Healing increased is also amazing stat because it works on a lifesteal. It works on any source of like heal that we get. That is how we are be able to sustain so much. And again, indestructible, unrepairable combo is what we are running here. What you're looking for in the both weapon and shield is try to get this gain to be as high as you can. So I think on the shield is 10. I might be wrong. I think on the weapon is 10 for sure. So, but since like Spirit Edge is such a rare weapon, right, you can't really afford it. But yeah, if you see like a shield with higher focus, basically that's the end game chase, is to get these ones as high as possible when it comes to like gaining, because that means whenever you block you're gonna get like much more runes out of it, much more focus out of it. For the armors, now the most important pieces here is the helmet and the gloves, because those are the two that affect your damage. First one is the helmet gives you 25% to any elemental stat, so cold, obviously we are running cold, so we are going for that one. And the second, what we are running on pretty much all the pieces of gear, and how we are be able to like become super tanky along with all the resists plus the armor, is the damage taken decreased up to 10% based on durability. We are running that one on every single piece of gear, so that is your second stat to get. It's absolutely amazing. They all stack, and you can definitely see a difference in like damage taken. And the third important one is focus on inflicting any build-up. So basically whenever you freeze, burn, or shock a target, you get like 15. You get it once, right? So once you fill the bar. It's not like every time you hit. It's once you fill the bar, you will get 15 focus. And that is pretty much it. For the chest piece, and for the helmet, Frost build-up gem. Out of all the gems, like you can run something like max focus here, but I prefer the Frost build-up. As I said, the faster you freeze or do any of those like elemental stuff, you just it is just that much better. And especially like if it's like a boss, you will pretty much guarantee that you will within one hit. Sometimes I require two, but it's usually just one hit. Like one full frost throw combo is just gonna freeze the target. And for the chest pieces here, we want, as I said, damage taken decreased on every piece. Then frozen enemy armor decreased by 50. This one doesn't affect your elemental damage, but it does affect your physical damage. That's why your shatter is gonna do absolutely stupid amount of damage. That is why we are taking that one. Obviously indestructible, unrepairable, and as I said, max health increased by 10% of max focus. That is why the ring of calmness is here. So you get like a bit more health, and with pants you will get a bit more stamina with that. We are slotting healing increased by 15% here. As I said, you can always run something like max focus to get like more raw stats, like more stamina and more health from that raw focus. But I think this frost build up and healing increased, especially like healing is super strong. Like this one will make your food, like your 100 food is gonna kill you for 200. which is like once you like stake it enough, it's very very good. Like healing stat is very very good overall in the game. Now for the pants, we have like an option here for a negative stat to not be like indestructible and unrepairable, because heavy roll, we are already heavy rolling because we are rolling most of the most of the heavy gear, so we don't really worry about that one. So that one is basically free. So there isn't really too many things you can put. That poise defense, I don't know, like that could be some other stat, but none of it is like that important. I just never changed this one because I didn't have like mats to reroll, since this one is already exalted, and I just left that one in there. But yeah, damage taken is primarily one you can take item weight decrease, because we don't really have on the pants. It's one of those like flexible slots, so the only thing that I would suggest is damage taken and max stamina increased by max focus. Those two, rest is up to you. I put item weight one because that reduces the pressure I need for the stats, which means I can put more stats into my main stat or more into health, and that's pretty much it. Poise defense, that one is just there. Like that was not planned to be. Stamina cost decreased by 10%. This one is always nice to have, like a bit of stamina, especially because on pants you get like higher roll, because like not all gems are equal on all the pieces. You can see the purple ones, they are kind of like doubled on this, and when it comes to like frost and like all the elemental stuff, you can only have it on a helmet anyway, so that's why it's worth at least having it slotted on one piece of gear. For the gloves, this is your second main like damaging a piece of gear that you can have. So this one, focus cost decreased by 10% is huge. This one, especially when you're trying to multi-buff stuff, because like buffs cost 100, and reducing that by 10 is like a lot. And during a combat, throw costing like 45 instead of 50 does like mean you can spam it like a whole lot more. Again, we are going with damage taken decreased. Then we are going with the frost buildup increased by 30%. That one is also like a majorly important stat. As I said, like we have like 15 here plus here, so 45. Just to make sure that everything gets frozen like all the time. Gain 10% health on kill. This one I don't really use, like need it all that much now. Especially, as I said, like health on kill doesn't work on rune attacks. But with frost, you are not really killing most of the stuff with the runes attacks. You are killing them with shattering, with like normal attacks. So it does proc quite a bit. Parry disabled. I refuse to parry because most of the time parrying in this game just punishes you even more, because you have to parry like 7 times in a row and boss just keeps on going. So, and I'm just there to face tank, okay? I just face tank, freeze, and one-shot the bosses. I don't need to parry. So parry disabled, and that gives us it frees up one more stat, so we don't need to be like unrepairable and indestructible. And we have stamina recovery. A bit more stamina recovery is always nice, just to balance it out. You could always run something else, like if you can. I'm not sure if it's gonna allow you to put heal on this, like healing increase. You can go with that, or maybe more focus. Up to you. And that is pretty much it. As I said, like all of this is just for the rings, I would suggest 2 rings to have both heat and plague. Heat and plague, as I said, those are the main elemental resists you have to worry about in the end game. Then you can like balance it out with like a third one which has like a cold and electric, but you want 2 to have like heat and plague, and 1 to be like cold electric, and that's about it. So you have them kind of like nice. Like heat is obviously my heat is like here, the highest one, which is pretty noticeable when I'm fighting witches now, so I don't really take like billion damage anymore, because they are absolutely insane. And that's about it. When it comes to the gear, I will now go through the stuff you can get. As I said, this is the end game build, so you can't use this one for you won't be able to use this build like very early in the leveling, because you need something like a risen blade. This one is for the frost throw. I'm not sure. Okay, ice throw, yeah. Ice throw is on it, so you will need to extract it from one of these weapons. This weapon starts to, I think, around level 9 when it starts to drop, so it will take a while before you get it. You can start this build as a fire, right? So you would just get a fire throw instead of the frost one, and everything would stay the same. You would literally build everything the same. The only thing is, instead of cold damage, you would go with fire, and in here you can get like more burn damage on a chest instead of frozen armor, and that's it. And obviously like fire build up. So the way that they made it's pretty straightforward. So whenever you see something on a, for example, on a helmet, if it has cold damage, it has all the other elements. If same goes with the gloves and same goes with the chest. They all add like so there's like one for plague, one for for fire, and one for lightning as well. But overall the stats never change. All the other things stay the same. So yeah, I would suggest to level, and if you can get a Grimacing Stone is the best weapon before the Spirit Edge. Honestly, even the maxed out Grimacing Stone is probably stronger than a Spirit Edge if you get one with a Cold Infusion. This is by far the best weapon I think for us in a game. You see it even at like 12, it can still be leveled 4 times and exalted, and it's already having much higher like base damage than our Spirit Edge. This thing is insane. Yeah, if you get this one, you can even run with the blue one. It's fine, totally fine with that. As I said, like if you don't really want to worry too much about like life leech in at the beginning, you can always run one on shield and just use the heat enchantment or like freeze enchantment, so you don't need to buff it yourself, because that part is kind of annoying. But yeah, everything else stays the same. Malice is probably gonna be the first weapon you can get from a blacksmith to buy it to start out the build. Malice is also a very good weapon. As I said, like early ones you want to get is either a Grimacing Stone or a Malice. Those are the two options. You have like, a couple more maces, but one you can buy from blacksmith, so it's like very cheap, and you can really start it early. Same with the Kite Shield. Kite Shield, as I said, they have basically they are the same shield. They are the medium shield. They are both like focus requirement, and both that one and the Malice can be bought from a blacksmith, and you can start the build right away. And that is pretty much it for this video guide. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want like more videos like this, as the game gets updated, I will be posting more. But I've been enjoying this one. As I said, like cleared all the content there is in the game. Right now it's more about like me hunting for a fashion than anything else. And that is it. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Salute and bye.